Welcome to the Sanity Project podcast, the place for internet technology professionals whose work-life balance plan has imploded. We are here to provide solutions that will help the IT pro live a sane, healthy, and prosperous life. Here's your host, Joanne Victoria.
Hi, this is Joanne Victoria, and I am the host of the Sanity Project podcast. I partner with IT pros in the telecommunications, technology, entertainment, and mass media industries whose work-life integration plan has imploded and who want more success, more confidence, more fun, and more inner peace. The Sanity Project podcast is a platform for experts in the development, personal development, and IT communities to share their wisdom, expertise, and solutions that will help the IT pro live a sane, healthy, and prosperous life. And we have a great guest today who speaks of things and writes things and makes movies about things that warm the cockles of my heart. His name is Ike Allen. Ike Allen is the spiritual director of Enlightenment Village and founder of AVAIYA Media. Enlightenment Village and AVAIYA create positive films, books, and courses, such as A Course in Miracles, the movie, The Tao of Quantum Physics, Leap, A Quantum Awakening, The Truth About Prosperity, and Ike has also won the Golden Medal Indies winner of the Tao of Walt Whitman in 2011. And there are many more projects on the way. Within the Enlightenment Village membership community, Ike uses his intuitive ability to rapidly uncover what people truly want and the core story that's limiting them in any area of their life. Using his laser-like ability, Ike holds a clearing to help people step into who they really are and what their most natural expression in this world is. Today, Ike is going to be speaking to the audience about how to discover the process by which virtually all change occurs. Get ready, everybody. Here's Ike Allen. Welcome to the show, Ike.
Thanks, Joanne. It's great to be with everybody.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. You have so much stuff to talk about that I'm going to let you get right to it, especially the part of how people can they can change everything, using your process.
Yeah, I would say you can change anything you want in your life, or you can remove the blocks to whatever it is. You can remove the blocks to your limitations. You can remove the blocks to your relationship challenges, fill in the blank. It's the process by which virtually everything changes. And we call it the process. And I would also say that the reason that it works is because it's really nothing new. It's a real simple formula, and if we all take a look at it in our life, we can see how it's always in our life. We just sort of present the steps and say, here's what you do if you actually want to follow it along in your mind. So we say, basically, the process has 3 key steps, right? It's the awareness of what is, it's facing, we call it the ouch factor or the impact, and it's then taking an inspired action, or maybe just creating what we call an inspired way of being, like being happy, right? So in life, often we are lying to ourselves. We all know those situations where we stayed in a relationship, we were working at a job that we weren't really happy, or in an area of the job that we weren't really happy, we needed to lose weight, fill in the blank. We were doing something and we kept telling ourselves, right, that it's okay. I don't mind being here. I don't care if I don't get to this place in 5 or 10 years. So here's the process. The process is simple, right? You say to yourself, you just get real and you take a look and you say, I tell myself, now here's the example. I tell myself that I love my job, okay? And then sit with it and feel it and say, is that true? Do I love my job? And the human mind wants to judge it or wants to rationalize it, but just be with it without judging it. I tell myself that I love my job. And if it doesn't feel right, or you just know intellectually in your mind, then the truth is, it's what I tell myself, and the truth is, I tell myself I love my job, and the truth is, I don't love my job, right? So there's step one. It sounds simple, but often in life we lie to ourselves. I tell myself this person's not cheating on me. I tell myself I'm never going to become president of this. I tell myself I can't break away and start my own company, right? So I tell myself X, and the truth is sitting with it, just feeling it, and the truth is fill in the blank. I tell myself I love my job, and the truth is I don't love my job, right? We call that the revelation, right? For people in the business world, we also call this the ROI process, like return on.
That's good. I like
right?
that.
Like return on investment, you've got the revelation, the ouch factor, and the inspired action or inspired way of being. So the revelation is, I've been telling myself this, and the truth is this. And then I feel like if you look at other programs, the only way for people to really begin to make that change is they've got to deal with the ouch factor. And that's the next piece. I told myself I loved my job, and the truth is I don't love my job. The ouch factor, now let's take a look at what it's costing you, right? ROI. What is it costing me by lying to myself? What is it costing me that I've been lying to myself? What is it costing me that I keep lying to myself? What is the price I'm paying for pretending I love my job? And right, so for some of us, we may notice we're unhappy. We take it home with us. We're unhappy in our relationship. We're taking it out road rage in traffic on that long drive that many of us do, right? What is the cost on you? Maybe you're drinking more than you want to. And I love beer, but maybe you're drinking more beer than you want to, right? So what is it costing each of us when we've been lying to ourselves, right? Look at all the things that it's costing. It's costing me a sense of happiness. It's costing me my romance. It's costing me my fill in the blank, right? And then if you really want to get into it, look at the ouch factor on other people in your life. So this is what I've been doing to myself by lying about how I feel about fill in the blank, like, for example, my job. But what is the impact on I have 2 young daughters, right? What's the impact on my daughters? What's the impact on my partner? How's she feeling? What's the impact on my neighbors when I go in and blast down the road faster than I have to and, almost kill their kids or their dog or whatever, right? What is the ouch factor on me? What is the ouch factor on others? And you really want to feel it. You really want to feel that sting. And in America, in the world, a lot of us, we never want to deal with the sting, but I say just feel a little bit of it, right? Like feel how bad it is that you're lying to yourself about this. Because believe it or not, when we get present to the ouch factor, the cost that we are paying for not being honest about what is, something rises up inside us, and that is the revelation. Right? If you look at people in AA and other, let's just call it come to Jesus moments, right? It doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be a little thing, like something about how you're eating. Let's call it a smaller thing. You've gained 5 pounds. So it doesn't have to be some cataclysmic thing in your life. This is something you use on everything. I tell myself I love these shoes, but the truth is I want to buy a new pair of tennis shoes, So it doesn't have to be some gigantic thing. Right? So the next piece comes, and it is the revelation. And when we get quiet and honest about what is, and we realize the cost that we're paying and the people in our lives are paying, if you're spiritual or religious or a quantum person or fill in the blank, right? Something rises up inside us when we're honest about what is, right? You can feel, right, when you confront things, if you're confronting something right now and you're by yourself and you're just being honest what it is, you're sitting there with it, you're like, yeah, this guy's right. Feel it. You can feel a happiness rising up in you. And that's the revelation. And the revelation comes up, and then you take an inspired action or inspired way of being. So let's go through it one more time. And see, that's the thing about it. It may not seem sexy, but once you do it and once you start banging this out, it happens so fast you don't think about it. It becomes muscle memory. Everything in your life you start saying, okay, I've been telling myself I love my job. The truth is I don't love my job. The ouch factor for me is I'm getting ulcers and drinking too much. The ouch factor on my kids is they don't like being around me. And the inspired action is create a plan to get out of this job. So I'm not a preacher of quit your job tomorrow and yada, 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 or start a new company, but it's the inspired action might be sit down with a planner, sit down with a life coach, a business coach, and start a plan to be out of the situation you're in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, even if something takes us 10 years and we're moving toward it, we're moving toward it. So the inspired action could be create a plan to get out of the situation. Another inspired action, and it rises up inside you. Another inspired action might be like talk to your boss and say, hey, can we do things differently? But something rises up so that you're in alignment with what feels good to you, what your truth is. Now, that's an inspired action, but you might just get an inspired way of being, right? Like being happy. You may look through the whole thing and just being honest about that situation, you may suddenly find that you have gratitude. And you say, you know, I've gone through this step and I see how I'm not happy at my job, but what I saw from going from, right, the revelation to the ouch factor is, you know what? I actually need to be more appreciative and thankful for what I do have. So the inspired way of being, who I'm going to be now, is conscious of appreciation, conscious of gratitude. And that really is it. And that can be laid over the biggest thing in your life and the littlest thing in your life. It may not seem sexy, but I think it's darn sexy, because whenever anything comes up in my life, I live really close to the beach, and I'll say to myself, oh, I don't want to go to the beach today. Oh, I could be working on this project, I work in front of my computer a lot too, you know, creating courses and things. And I'll be telling myself, hey, Ike, oh no, you don't need to go to the beach, you know, twice today or something. And then I say, wait a minute. Am I really okay not going to the beach today? I'm telling myself I shouldn't take an hour break and go to the beach. And the truth is, I can work at 10 o'clock at night. I can work at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can work at 10 a.m. So if I want to go to the beach at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., the truth is I can go to the beach. And the ouch factor on me is I'm sitting here wasting so much time in front of the computer, I don't know what I can say on your show, Joanne, but mental, wasting time. Yeah.
Screw it off.
I'm sitting here mental masturbating about, wasting 45 minutes not focused on my work because I could just go to the damn beach. And the impact on Andy in the house is she's like, dear God, I wish he would just step away from his computer for a little while. So the inspired action is get in convertible, put top down and drive to the beach for an hour, because when I come back, I'll be more focused on my work. See, it works on anything, and it works on, you fill in the blank. It works on business. It works on spirituality. It works on your personal relationship. It works on the shoes you buy. What are you telling yourself? What's true for you? What's the impact of not being honest about what is? And what the heck do you want to do about it now? There's the process by which virtually all change occurs.
I think that many people, have a problem with accepting what you're talking about in its simplicity. I prefer what you're talking about. This is usually the way I live my life, although I certainly dwell in the drama from time to time because that's the way I'm made, and I try not to. And then I look at, okay, what needs to change? And then people go, well, it can't be that easy. Well, nobody said it was easy. Simple, yes. Easy, no. Easy if you trust yourself, easy if you believe in yourself, easy. How do you help people who say it's too easy? Because I know there's got to be other people who say, this sounds too easy.
Yeah, it is funny, right? Like so much of we have so many people in the quantum physics world. We have a lot of scientists and stuff in our world, and psychologists and psychiatrists and everything. And it is amazing how many people have a belief that it needs, not even that it should, right? That it needs to be harder. And I would just say, is that true? All right, Joe, you're telling me that it needs to be harder. Or Joe, you're telling me it must be harder. Is it true, Joe, that it must be harder? Is it true that figuring out what's true for you needs to be difficult? Is it true? And, sometimes, Joanne, there is a lot of crickets and silence and someone sitting there saying, wait a minute, is it true? Like, why do I have it that it can't be easy? And then usually I'll say, can you see the concept in your mind that it can't be that easy show up anywhere else in your life? right? And then they'll go on to, well, yeah, that's how I look at my relationships, or that's how I look at my relationship with my mother or my father. That's how I look at my drive. That's how I look at the programming I'm doing, right? I have it. Who I am is someone who says life can't be easy. So I just fold them right back into the process, because it is literally the thing that transforms virtually anything. Is it true, Joe, that it can't be that easy? Well, no, like, it's not true. It could be that easy. All right, Joe. Well, if you believed it could be that easy, could it be that easy? And then there's usually, right, the light bulbs beaming, and people say, oh, right. It doesn't have to be that hard. I tell myself it needs to be difficult. The truth is, it doesn't need to be that difficult. Now, that doesn't mean that the inspired action, right? Like, I tell myself I'm okay being 20 pounds overweight, and the truth is I want to drop this 20 pounds, right? So, and the inspired action is join a gym. Now, I'm not saying, right, this is not some world of you visualize that you're 20 pounds thinner and you're 20 pounds thinner. You better visualize that you're driving to the gym, and then you better drive to the gym, and then you better visualize that you're bench pressing, and then you better bench press or be on the, so the process is simple. And for many things, it transforms your life in a minute. Once you start banging this out, the process out, and the muscle memory kicks in, you just go through the steps so lickety split, bam. But if it is something like, right, I want to lose weight, I want to start my own business, then the inspired action might be create a business plan or a plan that's going to take years, but at least you're in the light of your mind of what is. You're no longer lying to yourself.
You also change your brain and your body when you do that. When you change your mind, you change everything. When you look at things differently, that's my perception anyway. When you change your mind, and this is what you're helping people do, is to look at things differently, which is different than what they've been doing before. Take a step to the left, take a step to the right, and things will alter if you let your body and mind follow the new path that you've opened up. Regardless of the topic, it doesn't really matter what the topic is. I also find that there are other people who've been promised, from seers and soothsayers and through the years, decades, hundreds of years, that you can snap your fingers and life will change. And one of the things that I think it was the Dalai Lama who said that if you could snap your fingers and your life could change that quickly, you would go insane, because it would be too much for most people to absorb. I, of course, like the simple approach, because I think that's the only approach to take. And I want people to listen to what you are saying to them, because this is really vital information. It will save their lives. And okay, so what else can you tell us, or do you want to repeat that? Do you have an example? How's about an example? Because people like stories. So do you have an example of someone that you worked with and helped clear them and they went through the process? I don't care if it was a simple process or a complicated process, but a story.
Well, it's funny, because what generally comes up in sort of me coaching people is relationships, right? It is amazing how much things come down to our romantic relationships. We think it's business. We think it's, fill in the blank, and it's usually our romantic relationship. So I'm dealing with this particular, I ended up talking to the husband and the wife first, and then the husband. And so I do this coaching session with a woman recently, and she's telling me, right, about how her husband never listens to her. And right, this is what we're going to talk about, right? They fill out the form ahead of time. I want you to help me to understand why right? Everyone could sort of see where this is going, right? Why my husband never listens to me. So I get her on the phone, and she's like, right, she's telling me the story. She's going on and on, giving me the complete story with all the proof and everything about how he never listens to her. And so then I said, okay, so let me ask you something, right? She's expecting me to ask her something long, drawn out, profound. And I said, is that true? You just said, let's call him Charlie. Charlie never listens to me. Is it true Charlie never listens to you? And right, there's the pause, right? Here come the crickets again, right?
Right.
And she goes, well, no, he does listen to me sometimes. Okay. So then she gives me a couple examples. I said, tell me a few ways in which he has listened to you. So then I'll say, like, is there any other way he's listened to you? So suddenly she's rattling off all these ways. It doesn't matter whether it's a man, woman. I don't want to appear like I'm showing any favoritism. She's going on and on about all these ways that he does listen to her. And I said, well, let me ask you something. Is it possible that somewhere sneaky, I'm trying to be playful, in your mind, you're secretly hoping he doesn't listen to you, right? Like, you want to have it that he doesn't listen to you. And, that's, it's a tough thing to confront, right? And they have been married for, God, I think 30 years or something, this couple, right? Mm-hmm. And if she has, for some period of that 30 years, been living in the story in her mind that he doesn't listen to, let's just say for the first 10 years, it was fabulous, right? For 20 years, she's been telling herself that Charlie doesn't listen. It's kind of tough to confront in yourself that it's not true. So she confronts it and she's like, you're right. He does listen to me. I don't want him to listen to me. Right. And so then we went deeper into her parents, right? And was she being listened to and she wasn't being heard? I guess, I can't go into much more detail than that, but right. So the revelation was, right, I tell myself Charlie doesn't listen to me. And the truth is, I don't want Charlie to listen to me, because then I get to be a victim of myself, of the world outside of me. Right. Right. The truth is, she wants to be a victim. And if Charlie's listening to her, then it doesn't back up her story that he's not listening to her.
The story she's carried for 2 decades.
Right.
Okay.
So, and sometimes it's hard. I'll be honest. She had 2 more coaching sessions. She came back for one and then she didn't come back for the other, because I think I didn't reinforce enough for her that maybe she was somehow a victim. Because, I live in that world of bad things happen to people, or as the great Zig Ziglar said, failure is an event, not a person. A lot of bad, air quotes, bad things have happened to me, but I'm not going to live my life as a victim. I tell myself bad things have happened to me. I tell myself I've been victimized, but the truth is I don't need to see myself as a victim for the rest of my life.
Correct.
Right.
And I think that's people's home base.
Yeah.
Victimhood. I mean, if it happens, you had something to do with it. That's the point. People don't want to own their crap. That's all.
Right. Right. Go to the drama triangle, right? You're always living, they say in the drama triangle, they say you're a hero, a victim, or a perpetrator. And it's sort of Shakespeare. In time, you play all roles. So you look at people in their life, often they default to being a victim, they default to being a hero, helping everyone, saving everyone, or they're a perpetrator and they like to, be poking at things, right? If you're anyone's in an office listening, or, certain people, right, they're always poking to stir things up. They're a perpetrator. I like to live my life as a hero. I like to help people, and I primarily help me and, my family, my kids, my partner, but I live my life as a hero. So I tell myself I could play any of those roles. And the truth is, the thing that's the most fun for me is to be the hero. So that's what I live. And the inspired action is help people.
Well, one way that Ike Allen is going to help people today, this information will be on my podcast page on Facebook as well as on my website. But however, Ike is offering a free film series called Watch the Truth About Prosperity. And you can access it at AVAIYA.com. A as in angel, V as in Victoria, A as in angel, I as in Ike, Y as in youth, and A again.com. AVAIYA.com/truth about prosperity dash P as in Peter, L as in Larry, /. Okay, let's do it again. AVAIYA.com/truth about prosperity dash PL /. And if you go there, you will find this brand new free film series about the truth about prosperity. And then you will learn what prosperity truly is. You can also see more of Ike's information at enlightenmentvillage.com as well as the AVAIYA.com website. And I'm going to ask Ike, what is the one piece of advice that you have carried with you throughout most of your life? What is this information that you carry with you all the time?
It's be honest about what is. That's it. Be honest about what is. Whatever is, be honest. If you're in love with someone, be honest about it. If you've fallen out of love with someone, be honest about it. If you love your job, be honest about it. If you hate your job, be honest about it. I'll tell you a little subtitle of that. I have a 10 and a 13-year-old daughter, and if you said to them, what's the number one thing your father tells you? They would tell you, it's to be honest with myself no matter what. Even if I lie to everybody else in the world at some point, never lie to myself.
Right.
That's what they know. They know if someone says, do I look fat in this dress? Or do my wrinkles, if grandpa says, do my wrinkles look more wrinkly? They know they're going to lie to him or her. But they're not going to lie to themselves and pretend that the wrinkles aren't there or the dress isn't a little too tight.
Yeah, it'd be way uncomfortable physically, I would imagine. At least that's what would happen to me. And I figure I'm everybody anyway. So the listeners, I want you to refer this podcast to other people. If you would like to give it a nice review on iTunes, go for it. But I'm more interested in people listening to the information that Ike Allen is presenting to you today, because this is serious stuff. It is simple for you to find out how you can change your life. Re-listen to this while you're driving your car. Oh, no, maybe it depends on where you live, but re-listen to this as often as you can. I would also ask that you go to my website at askjoannevictoria.com and download a free copy of my book, The True Self Handbook, A Guide to Transform Your Life. This has been a great show, great information. I'm so glad that you made it here. And I wish you the best in telling your truth to others in the world. Bye, Ike.
Thanks, Joanne. Have fun out there.
You too. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sanity Project podcast. Please go to AskJoanneVictoria.com and continue the conversation on my podcast page. And get a free copy of my book, The True Self Handbook, A Guide to Transform Your Life. That's AskJoanneVictoria.com. Take care, and thanks for being here.